Kevin Owens has vanished. That's right, I was going to go talk to Danger Mouse, but he was too busy with Penfold, but then it was okay, because the wrestling community did its thing. We discovered all the info. And the best part is, when we did learn about all of these details, it was a damn good ringing endorsement of what WWE has gone back to in 2022. Why? Weird. Here's why. So yeah, look, I can't remember the last time we saw Kevin Owens on WWE programming, but I do remember that he kept tangling with Mr. Money in the Bank Austin Theory, and every now and then he'd walk past Sami Zayn, who was trying to get into the Bloodline, and he'd shake his head like, "Sami, what are you doing? One day they're going to end you." It felt obvious like we were going to get a reunion at some point, and then we just got nothing. And it's not like Kevin all of a sudden appeared in another storyline on Raw or SmackDown. He just stopped coming to television, and nobody ever stopped to ask the question, why? That's why I'm here. As already hinted at though, all this is absolutely awesome, because anybody with a brain, sorry Scarecrow, can see what is going to happen between Roman Reigns, the Usos, Solo Sikoa, and Sami Zayn. If you don't want potential spoilers, you should probably turn off now. But as much as you love Sam, and as much as you love this dynamic, in some point in the future, the Bloodline are going to turn on Zayn, and water is going to come out of your seeing device because it's going to be absolutely terrible. I mean, the worst part of all of this is that it's not going to be very Usy at all, so nobody was listening, and eventually out will come Kevin Owens on his white horse. He will save the day. He will then get back together with Sami Zayn, and they will take on the Usos for the Unified World Tag Team Championships, and probably either win them at WrestleMania, or potentially at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, premium live event, in February. And the only reason I'm saying that is because that's live in Montreal, and those two guys would get such a big reaction, well, you should probably do it. But look, you could still kind of do what AEW did recently with the Acclaimed in Swerve in Our Glory. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn lose round one, and then they're able to get the victory in round two. And that may even make for a better story. And there is the key word to everything we're going to talk about today. Story in wrestling is the best. It's also our magic word, story, so welcome to Sesame Street. Because if we do believe the word that's going around, Triple H and the powers that be in WWE sat back and they watched how much the fans, you and me, were enjoying everything between Sami Zayn and the Bloodline. They went, well, I know we've got a calendar for this, and I know we've got a timeline, but why don't we just let it play out for a little bit? Because everybody seems to be having fun. I mean, there is no reason to rush it if everything is working. And in fact, if you did do that, you would make yourself idiots, because you would actually be going out there and ruining your product. And yes, if we go back to the Vince McMahon years, oh my gosh, we did this all the time. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Sometimes you could introduce a brand new story element at 8:04, and by 8:12, somebody had gone, 8:12 isn't even a time, but the story is over. Because the only way this narrative gets the payoff that you want is if we ensure there's loads of drama there. And seeing the interactions between Sami Zayn and everybody else in the group, I mean, it just makes your heart flutter. And at the moment, you can kind of make the argument, oh, maybe Roman Reigns is going to side with Sam. Now, he's not going to do that, but once again, you're buying in and you're just going along for the ride. I mean, the equivalent is you turn into a video like this and I say, right, everybody, I have decided to grow my hair back, and then I vanish off screen and I come back in a wig. I mean, how crap was that? You didn't get any kind of reaction because you didn't have enough time to get your head around it. And I'm so lazy, and I'm sorry when you do this with a story, it is lazy, I didn't even take my hood off. Somebody should fire me. It doesn't hurt Kevin Owens either, because he's already a massive star, and absence always makes the heart grow fonder. So when you do break it right down, I think this was totally the right decision. Because you can plan as much as you want, but you don't know how the fans are going to react to all of it. So if you do feel the magic, there's that word again, in the air, you've got to suck it through a straw and put it in your tum-tum. I mean, if we hadn't have done that, we wouldn't have had that excellent Bloodline segment on SmackDown a couple of weeks ago, which was so good and made everyone so happy. Did you see the YouTube numbers? Word of mouth was definitely a thing. This is why Owens being away right now gives me so much hope, because it's going to make WWE unpredictable again. And maybe you can even turn to someone like Dominik Dijakovic, who is about to return to NXT, and if all of a sudden he starts getting the fans behind him, you can go, well, we weren't planning to push Dom, but maybe now we should. So I don't have that trust that we could do something with it. And no, it doesn't matter if it fails. I'd much rather you threw things at the wall and see what's going to stick, because do not forget, back in 1996, there were no grand plans for Stone Cold Steve Austin. Nobody was going, well, he's our next megastar. He wasn't even meant to win the King of the Ring in 1996. But when all the pieces fell in place and we actually listened to the cheers, we finally pushed the trigger. And now look, he's one of the best ever. I'm not sure we've had that same flexibility over the last 10 years or so. I mean, as soon as I start talking about this, I think of Rusev Day and my heart breaks. But given that there's also rumors out there right now that Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona may return to WWE, I mean, he was the poster boy for this. He got himself over on YouTube, and what did WWE do to capitalize on it? They put him in a wheelchair, they pushed him off the entrance ramp, and they had his girlfriend cheat on him. Sorry, I don't know what anybody was thinking. It's not going to be this simple, of course, because Paul Levesque is a human being. He is going to make mistakes, and he's going to have his favorites. But all of this has just made me so damn pumped. Organic situations can grow and rise again, which means we don't totally know what they're going to do. And if nothing else, Sami Zayn has just been on fire recently, and I actively sit down on Friday nights and say to myself, well, I can't wait to see what he's going to do. Damn wig is getting in my eye. And it doesn't mean that I don't miss Kevin Owens, and doesn't mean I don't think that WWE could come up with something else for him to do in the meantime. But trust me on this, when Kev and Sam do get back together again and they have a big hug and eventually do win those championships, it's gonna be a moment we remember forever. And wrestling, even though people like to pretend otherwise, basically all about those moments. So it's good times for WWE as far as I'm concerned. I know it's not perfect and there's still things you can criticize, but allowing the potential for anything to happen just makes it so more interesting to be a fan. Because if something does get over and it does get momentum, well, the proof is in the pudding and the evidence is on the screen. Finally, we're just gonna let it run and run and run. And then we'll probably miss the peak and everyone go, oh man, I don't like it anymore. But I'd still rather that than killing it in 8 seconds. I mean, it's kind of nuts this has to make a comeback to begin with, because it shouldn't have gone away in the first place. But that ain't being very oozy. So let's just move that to one side and remind everybody watching, myself included, to go out there and have an oozy kind of day. Now, please do leave a comment below and let me know what you think about a bunch of things. What do you think about Kevin Owens? What do you think about Sami Zayn? What do you think about them becoming the tag team champions? Maybe you don't want to see it, and again, you can leave a comment below. Also, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Head over to whatculture.com where we will keep you up to date with all the latest wrestling news, and we've got articles. Come and follow us on social media at Simon316 and WhatCultureWWE. And if you're looking at this right now and going, wow, I'd love more videos from that guy, well, you can go on the YouTube channel and you'll definitely find some. My parents aren't proud. My name is Simon for What Culture. Thank you very much for watching me as always. And do you know what else you can do with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn? They become the tag team champions. They have a good old run, 6 months, maybe a year. And then when you get to the 12-month period, Kevin Owens can turn on Sami Zayn, much like he did down in NXT. And then you have the superb heel that is KO. And you have Sami Zayn, who, when treated right, is one of the most sympathetic and best baby faces ever. I mean that too, I'm not even kidding. I can't wait for the next 18 months of TV if we do this. Ha ha, surprise, it was me the whole time. See you soon.